It's another camera test. Nighttime, sort of lowish light, but it's quite bright here in Hong Kong. I have now set the camera to... Oh, my mask is so itchy. I've set the camera to regular mode, as in not HDR mode, to see how this looks at nighttime. Just was getting some artifacts before, so this is all manual mode. I've set the shutter speed to 1/60th of a second, and it's kind of like an aperture priority in a way. Well, not really, but sort of. I've got the ISO set to 1600, so it will vary the ISO as required. So yeah, it's a good way to get footage to control the shutter speed so I don't get too many artifacts, especially when the lighting conditions change. Like really bright here, look at these bright lights, but later on I'm going to walk to a darker place, and it's gonna, if I kept it on one ISO, it would get too dark. I suppose I could correct it in post. There's one thing you could look up called ISO invariable, and that means and a lot of chips have that. It doesn't really matter what the ISO is, it's just going to bump up the noise, so it doesn't matter. It's fine to adjust it in post afterwards. But anyway, this is why I do all these videos, so I can test it out, figure out the best workflow for me. And yeah, if you're on this channel, welcome. Thanks for checking it out and having a look at my test videos. Also, it's a good way for me to practice commentating and narration, and also getting more comfortable with the camera, because if I were to do this for a proper video, like a proper video that I wanted to make really nice and edit it nice and all that, if I didn't do all this stuff behind the scenes, if I didn't do all this practice, I wouldn't be as good at it. So I'm actually uploading a video every single day. But yeah, a lot of talking. I'm trying to get comfortable with the camera. One other thing I did was I set the exposure to -0.5, because I want to maintain the highlights if I can, just by a little bit. So I set it to shoot it a little darker, and I intend to make it brighter in post. I'm also shooting on log color, so I need to adjust that. But when you look at it, it would have been manually adjusted. I'm using Final Cut, so yeah, you probably won't be able to see what it looks like in log color, because I would have fixed it. We're here on Tung Choi Street in Mong Kok, Hong Kong. If you turn the camera around, you can see the sign. And now it's getting a bit darker here. One other thing is a lot of cities, I wouldn't be walking around on my own with the camera. Kind of make you a target for crime, right? Brand new camera too. And an expensive SD card. I got the 512 gigabyte. So I'm carrying around a little bit of gear that, you know, in many other cities you could get mugged for, but Hong Kong's like one of the safest cities, especially for like violent random crime. It doesn't happen that often, although I have heard stories that there have been like gang fights in Mong Kok at nighttime at like 2 a.m. or something. Someone told me that they were walking around Mong Kok and people were slashing each other with machetes and butcher knives and stuff. But I've lived in Mong Kok for a while, and either I'm very ignorant, it's not the word I'm thinking of, but anyway, maybe I avoid all that. But generally people do really feel safe in Hong Kong. It's not the petty crime that gets you here. It might be other things that get you, but I shouldn't talk about that. Otherwise, they'll probably get me. Anyway, you can check out what's open. It's 10 o'clock now. 10 o'clock, obviously at night time. Few restaurants are open. I'm actually searching for food. I'll probably end up at McDonald's, but if I see something I like, I might go there. In the good old days, like 2018, this street would be like fully lit up and the restaurants would be open way past 10. A lot till 11 and some even later. But things are a lot quieter these days due to some geopolitical situations as well as a pandemic. So yeah, it's a little more quiet, but still there's stuff open, and it is one of the most densely populated areas on Earth. Another thing, this channel has become a test channel for the 360 camera I've got. It will probably change to other things because it is my personal diary or vlogging channel, video log or video blog. But right now I'm testing out the camera, so I'm gonna do a lot of tests and talk about the camera. We have some sushi here. Maybe that's my dinner. But I like shishiro. Coughing a lot. What is this? Oh, spaghetti. I saw this the other day. I actually made my own spaghetti for lunch. Like rib finger beef with spaghetti. So not quite in the mood for that. And I kind of think spaghetti is one of the easiest things to make if you know how to make it. So I tend to prefer to make my own. That said, there's so much cleanup when you cook, especially for one person. Got to do the dishes, got to prepare the food, got to buy it. So coming out here, spending $30, it's not that bad. Saves you a lot of time. Oh, and I did want to mention the sound quality of this camera. You're listening to it now on the onboard mic. I usually turn off the fancy settings. Like you can have it so because it actually has 4 microphones, and it records on all 4. But when you look around, or if you if you orientate it, like if you output it to a flat and kind of pick the direction, it can actually pick up the audio from the direction you're looking at. I'm outputting to a 360 video, so you can pretty much look around and see everything. But at the moment I've just been turning off all the fancy audio settings and just keeping it on automatic. I found that it sounds pretty good that way. And I if you want to look around, I didn't want my voice to disappear, so I might play around with it more, but so far it sounds good. I actually bought the mic adapter, and I'm thinking of putting a shotgun mic to it and having it pick up the sound like right from here. I'm thinking on the stick I can have the microphone come up from the bottom near where I hold it and then get a really, really good sound, because then it will just be picking up the sound from a shotgun mic, which is very focused. But I don't know, the sound from the stock camera, because I'm pretty close to it, already sounds really good. So maybe I don't need to do that, but I'll probably test it out later. It's kind of good to know if you can improve your quality. But then every time you do something like that, it adds a bit of complexity. You've got the battery you need to charge for the microphone, perhaps, if it uses a battery, or you've got the added extra extra piece and you need the adapter, and yeah, sometimes it's just nice to have it all simple. And if it works okay, if it works like 90% as good, and if you add all the stuff it sounds 95% as good, you gain like 5%. Is it really worth it? Maybe, depends on your own goal. But yeah, I would like to test that out. I have the Rode Video Mic NTG, which is pretty good for I guess low pro level, like DSLR kind of videography level. It's definitely above consumer, and a really good mic. I use it for a lot of things, video recording. I used to use it for singing practice on Smule, but then I've changed to a hypercardioid microphone now, because I've got a speaker system that is like a karaoke room. You can actually hear yourself on a loudspeaker, and therefore I need a mic that can really reject other sounds. That said, I haven't tested it with the shotgun mic, so it might still work, but yeah, cardioid mics or hypercardioid mics are pretty amazing at getting rid of all the background noise and just picking up the sound directly in front of it. Like if this is the mic, pretty much you will only get the sound from where I'm speaking, which is good when you're recording it and trying to get a good quality recording and record. So for me, I can review and hear how I sounded and see what areas I need to improve on. So yeah, very long-winded way of saying that I like to test different setups. And this is a practice channel, so I don't mind if I'm not the most interesting and the most concise, you know, the most impactful 15 seconds trying to grab people's attention like TikTok. That's not the point of this video. But I would like to do some catchy videos later too. What's this? The guy was looking at it weird. I would like to do some more viral videos later. I actually don't even have a TikTok account because they closed down their operation in Hong Kong, citing something about a certain country, even though the app itself is operated in that country. I really don't quite get it, but you can Google it and it's still shut down. You can't get TikTok in Hong Kong. And I had like a couple of videos on mine and they deleted it. It makes me kind of sad. It's like YouTube. If they don't like you, they just cancel you. Or Twitter. Like, they didn't like the president. They canceled him. Can't believe it. Like, this is like America, you know? Freedom and free speech, but no, if they don't like you, you get cancelled. So TikTok, they pretty much cancelled the entire country. Or city, it's not really a country. It's a city-state. Or it was a city-state, I'm talking about Hong Kong. I don't know what it is now, technically, but if it hasn't changed, I guess it's still a city-state. Now, I was thinking of getting McDonald's over there and eating in, because I think they'd still be open. But they don't really make good burgers at McDonald's late at night. They kind of serve it to you a bit cold, and it's all a bit horrible, like a bit dry. Sorry, mask. They serve it to you a bit dry, and it's all a bit horrible. It's cold and dry and too salty. Just a horrible meal. So maybe it's worth seeing if there's anything else open around here. I'm kind of walking towards the next suburb here, or area. This is getting closer to Prince Edward. In fact, I think I'm in Prince Edward now. Might have a little wander and see if I can find something to eat. that I would like. Otherwise, I guess that's McDonald's for me. And you're supposed to get a good amount of walking in per day, right? Well, I can see on my camera that I've been walking for 15 minutes. Walking and talking for 15 minutes. So, this is like a congee place. So I should check how long you're supposed to walk each day to keep healthy. But hopefully I've achieved my quota. Isn't it like 10,000 steps or something? I think my watch keeps track of that too. It's currently off. I mean, see, I'm sleeping. That's supposed to be me, and I need to enter my passcode, so I'm gonna leave that for later. What to eat at 10 at night? Probably not that much choice. And it would be nice to go into the restaurant and sit down, because I've been at home all day procrastinating too. I'm supposed to finish off my tax return, but didn't sleep well, and I was tired, and then I got distracted, and then it was my friend's birthday, and then we ended up playing computer games, StarCraft and Borderlands 3. StarCraft 2 actually. And then we tested out streaming. So we streamed on... He did it on his end. We streamed on Twitch. And it's, yeah, kind of a new experience for us, even though I do a lot of blogging like this. And it's kind of hard to play StarCraft and talk at the same time, because it's a game where you need to think a lot, and it's a very quick strategy game, and if you make the wrong move, you get punished hard, or you could get punished hard if the opponent knows how to capitalize on your mistake. So it was hard to, it's kind of hard to play and try to be entertaining at the same time, but we kind of thought that my shoe's really itchy. We kind of thought that that might be a good thing to do, because it's good brain practice, and we kind of want to improve at the game. So by using more of your brain and trying to make things automatic, we think it would make us a better player. Does that logic kind of follow? For example, if you drive a car at the beginning and you're doing manual, you're driving a manual car, you really have to concentrate. You know, your timing with the clutch and how you move the gears and make sure you get in the right place. But after you've been driving for years, it becomes second nature and you don't have to think about it. So that's kind of the analogy. Like we'd be so natural at playing StarCraft that we don't really have to think about it, and we can carry a conversation. Just like you would talk to your passenger. Once you've been a driver for a while, you don't have to think about the gears. That said, StarCraft is much more complicated than driving stick. In fact, there's a metric that's used called APM, actions per minute, and it measures how many things you do per minute. And in a game like StarCraft, the more things you do, generally the better you are at it, kind of. You can do a lot of things badly, but if you can do a lot of things, it means you're thinking ahead and you're executing mechanics that are required for the game. And my APM is around 150 to 200 depending on the situation, which is not too bad for an intermediate player. But yeah, oh, that Porsche is very noisy. Okay, what's this 520? I'm going to cross the road and have a look. Yeah, it's kind of, Hong Kong's a lot quieter than it used to be in the glory days. I don't even know if it's gonna get back to the peak, you know, the peak of Hong Kongness, where it was full of tourists and it was busy. It was almost nighttime, had its own life. Maybe later things will change, but we only, like in Hong Kong, lifted the restrictions. If you came to visit in Hong Kong, you'd have to pay for a hotel quarantine for 7 days. Basically, pay for a hotel, a special hotel that's just for people quarantining. Stay in the hotel and just do whatever. I don't know. You probably watch a lot of TV or play StarCraft. But yeah, it used to be 7 days mandatory hotel stay. You have to pay for the hotel yourself as well. And then after that, I think you can get out. I never left the country, so I never experienced that myself. But now they've made it 3 days. 3 days where you can't go out and eat at a restaurant. Like, there's certain venues you can't go to. You can still go out. I think you can go to a supermarket, but you can't like go to a McDonald's and sit down and take your mask off and eat. So there's a 3-day limited restriction now. And then after that, you're free as long as you don't have COVID. And you got to get tested and all this stuff. And I think a rat test, you know, the one you do at home, I think for that, it's not good enough. You need to go to a government testing site where a professional will test you properly, who knows what they're doing, with better equipment than a test at home kit. Okay. I've been talking for 22 minutes. We're in Shanghai Street now, in Prince Edward, kind of on the border of Mong Kok. If you turn around, you can see the street sign. And I still haven't found my food. Maybe I'll end up at McDonald's. It's kind of, you know, it's not great. I mean, at night it's bad sometimes, but sometimes it's good. This is why I really like Moss Burger, because their consistency and their quality control is quite high. And also the business model is different. They charge a bit more, but they put a bit more care into their product, into their food and burgers. McDonald's is cheaper. They don't really care as much. And the teenager that's making the burger, like, doesn't give a crap. But I kind of feel like Moss Burger in Hong Kong, they have a little bit more care into their product. Maybe it's a Japanese thing, because the franchise came from Japan, although in Hong Kong, obviously, they employ local people to make it. Another quieter street. We're still in, like, most of Hong Kong is kind of like this, you know, like, the buildings are a little bit old. They're not super tall. You get estates, like you can see behind, there's some really tall buildings, but a lot of it is kind of medium rise. I think they're called tenements. And slowly they get knocked down and rebuilt, because they only have like around 8 floors. Some of them have lifts and some of them don't. But with these old buildings, they only have 8 floors, so they can't fit as many people. So with urban development and urbanization and just improving the city in general, good idea is to knock them down and build something that can accommodate a lot more people. Like, instead of 8 floors, throw a 30 floor or more, perhaps. Make it into a really big building that can house a lot of people. And hopefully do it cheaply, because it's more efficient. But anyway, a lot of Hong Kong looks like this kind of street that I'm walking in. All right. No food around here. Oh, there is a Japanese rice beef thing I could get, but I kind of feel like, ooh, vomit on the street. Kind of feel like sitting down and eating McDonald's. So yeah, maybe I'll do that. It's probably worth starting a new video too, because this is me walking around at night, chatting about the camera and about various topics that come to mind. But I don't know, maybe people want to see what a McDonald's looks like in Hong Kong. Or not. If they don't, then that's fine. I still get to practice my commentary and comfortability being on camera. Whoa. This is Boot Street. What do you think of the image quality? Because you're looking at it now. I actually have quite a nice little display on the back of this camera that I can get a preview. But it's not until you export it and see it on a big screen, like a monitor, that you can really see what the image looks like. But that said, it looks a little grainy. I upped the ISO and I upped the shutter speed because I wanted to smooth out some of the motion. I don't want it to be so blurry and full of artifacts. That's why I've got the HDR off, and I've got a 1/60th, which is a relatively fast shutter speed. I want each frame to be a fast shutter speed, so each frame is sharp, and it won't have like a blur when I walk or move the camera. You see a lot of buses here. A lot of people don't own cars in Hong Kong. It's just not convenient. I think it's a lot of things are analogous. Not sure what the word is. Yeah, a lot of things have a direct analogy to New York, because even though it's Asia, it's like a small little city, or kind of actually a small city with a lot of people, a densely populated city. Alright, well, I'm at the McDonald's, and that's going to be it for this video. I'm going to enter the foyer and then start the next video. Oh, by the way, the 1/60th of a second shutter speed sometimes makes lighting conditions flicker because it's a really fast shutter speed. And these LED lights actually pulse, but we can't see it with our eyes, but the camera can pick it up. But there are plugins that can fix that, but it's kind of not nice. It's kind of a lot of editing, and you got to run it through a few passes and kind of smooth it out, and sometimes you get